Thank you, Girish ji. That was a good insight you gave about how technology can play an important role in investor protection and how risk profiling helps investor protection. Now can call upon Sharma ji.
You will excuse my interruption.
Sir, I would request you to kindly hold on your horses because we have other panelists who may have to finish their discussions.
Carry on, sir, but something is not getting through. It is all sermonal. That we are talking is all sermonal. Why can't we make it question answer session so that we gain something?
Definitely, sir. We will come to that, sir. Once I think everybody speaks out their mind, then probably you will have a right to ask questions and probably will be in a position to respond to you.
You don't have this time. Already the bell has rung. And if they also keep talking like this, probably we will not be gaining much. With due regards to all of you, especially you. Sir, when you say that we should read the guidelines before investing, guidelines are given for every investment, how many of us read it? Probably you also may not be reading the whole of it. And if at all we read it, then we shall not venture invest. We go by saying, we go by guidance by others. Who reads it? If we read it, we will not invest. We will get scared. Second, where was SEBI and NSDL when these robbers like Kingfisher robber, Rana Kapoor robber, Lalit Modi robber, where is investors' protection taken care of by SEBI and NSDL? We talk of investors' protection, but what was SEBI and NSDL and other regulators doing when these people were robbing us? They robbed the entire nation. If God unwilling, if Adani or Ambani also do that, if they run away, what will happen to the country? Where goes the protection? But let us talk on such issues which are burning, which are to be answered by learned people like you. Let us talk on those lines.
Let me answer your question.
Yeah.
The first question, I'll try to attempt it. I'll request all of you to please join in. Sir, can I ask you a question back? With due respect to you. If your close relative, your friend, asks you for 10,000 rupees, how many questions would you ask him? Or would you give the money to him without asking a single question? Think about it. What I would consider or what comes to my mind would be that, why do you want 10,000 rupees? When would you give it back to me? How are you in a position to repay it back to me? If you're asking from me a meager amount of 10,000, for which you feel such a big need, that means you're not in a position to even give me back 10,000 rupees. So how do you think, should I give it to you or not? So why I'm posing these questions to you and why I'm answering on your behalf is that this is precisely the way we have to think when we invest. Let me complete, sir. So the world over, this is precisely how the regulators follow. There could have been a better mechanism of investing. If yes, we could have imbibed that. But believe me, sir, this is the best way of investing. The best way of investing is that, who is the investor? You. So you have to decide. Someone else cannot decide on your behalf whether to invest or not. If someone else decides on your behalf to invest, that means you are not the investor. So what SEBI does is that you ensure that all that is required for the investor or for you or anybody to take an informed decision is the facts that are required to be made available and should be available to you. So based on that, you need to take this thing. Right, sir? There cannot be a better way than that. If it is, we are ready to listen to it. The second part is that when we talk about any corporate having gone bad, as an investor, what are you in that corporate? You are a shareholder. You own the company. How many times have we seen anybody asking questions? The results, the company fact sheet is before everybody of us in the public domain. How many of us make an assessment or a judgment out of those figures? What happens in reality is that the share price keeps going up, we are happy. The share price comes down, we are not happy. As a regulator, we're agnostic to the share price movements or the market movements. Please understand that, sir. As a regulator, the job is to ensure that you have a level playing field. There are no miscreants out there trying to do something. The job is of the investor. The chartered accountant probably who had made the figures there. There's a collective responsibility of all of us to ensure that if a company is doing wrong, somewhere it goes wrong, we all have to point it out. Most of the actions that have flown from SEBI or thanks to investors, it has come from them, sir. There has been a vigilant investor who has come back to SEBI with some kind of a complaint, some kind of an information, some kind of a small red flagging. This is what we request everybody. You need to be vigilant, sir. I'll ask my fellow panelists if they can add something to this.
I want to make one quick point, okay, because frauds will always happen in the market, and it's not possible to prevent all frauds. The right way to immunize yourself from that is through diversification. Okay, so so if you hold a diverse portfolio of stocks, if something happens to one of those companies, then that gets compensated by the diversification that you have. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. You're making very important points, okay, and we cannot escape from that. Why do you have such large frauds with such recurring regularity? And that is something that the whole financial system has to answer for, not just in India, but all over the world. In fact, in India doesn't hold any special position in this. There have been the Enrons and the Wirecards, and like you read the Financial Times, every year you will see a few of these really large ones. But as far as investors are concerned, the only way to save yourself from being completely exposed to this is by doing proper asset allocation and being properly diversified so that one failure doesn't hurt you.
I just add one more thing, and please forgive me if this, hits home hard. But the point is that investors need to be protected, but that doesn't mean that the investments are guaranteed. At the end of the day, you are taking a risk based on your risk perception and your risk profile, your time horizon. But normally, it happens that investors fall prey to greed and then they blame the regulator or the intermediaries. The point is very simple, that today if something costs 100 rupees and suppose there is a cricket match, World Cup final going on in Delhi and the ticket is 5,000 rupees, someone says, I'll give you 10 tickets for 1,000 rupees each. You think, oh great, let me take it and I'll sell some to my friends and I'll make some money also, I'll watch the match. You have to understand that it's a fraud. Now, many times investors just get so blinded by greed that they don't even do their due diligence. The point is, if you have the knowledge and the resources to invest in direct stocks, please do so. If you don't, then go through a mutual fund. That is the idea why mutual funds have been created. If you are more sophisticated, go through a PMS. If you are even more sophisticated, go through an AIF. The point is, eat what, at a certain age you eat what suits you. Too much of a good thing is also bad. ज़्यादा दूध पीने से भी पेट खराब हो जाता है. So the point is, you have to understand what is good for you and do that. Rather than, जैसे आप कहीं भी पार्टी में जाइए, शादी में जाइए, कोई ना कोई आपको मिल जाएगा किसी से पूछते हुए, स्पेशली मार्केट्स आर डाउन, कि ये शेयर क्या लगता है. क्यों पूछता है वो पूछता है, सामने वाला पूछता है क्यों, क्या हुआ, तो बोला नहीं फंसे हुए हैं. So the point is investigate, then invest, not vice versa.
Thank you, sir. I hope we have been able to. Thank you so much, sir. Now, sir, I'll request Sharma ji to say, in the morning session, sir, you raised one issue. Ki SEBI makes laws, but probably there's a problem in implementation by the intermediary. I would like to put forth before you the concept of, again, self-regulation. Do you think self-regulation is important, or SEBI has to come back and probably every time ascertain after releasing a new law or a new rule that whether the intermediary has effectively implemented or not?
सर, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट आपने काफ़ी कुछ क्लैरिफाई करने की कोशिश करी, और इवन सभी लोगों के सामने क्या सेबी इस सभी चीज़ पे एक्शंस और रूल्स रेगुलेशंस और जितने भी बेस्ट टू बेस्ट इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए एक मैकेनिज़्म बनाने का सिस्टम हो सकता है. लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट, जैसा कि अभी सर ने पूछा था, आरबीआई की बड़ी एक स्पेशल सी लाइन है, समझदार बनिए, सजग रहिए, सतर्क रहिए. तो शायद इन्वेस्टर एजुकेशन प्रोटेक्शन कहीं ना कहीं घूम फिर के सेल्फ उस पे आ जाती है. आपका डिसीजन, आपकी ज़रूरत. कोई भी टीचर, कोई भी ड्राइविंग सिखाने वाला कोई पर्सन आपको ड्राइविंग सिखा सकता है. कोई टीचर आपको बता सकता है, लेकिन लाइफ में जो आपको डिसीजंस लेने हैं वो आपको स्वयं लेने होंगे. उसके लिए कोई भी रेगुलेटरी जिम्मेदार नहीं हो सकती. और सर ने जैसा कहा कि बहुत लोग फ्रॉड करके और ये सब कुछ करके गए, तो उसके जवाब में एक सर आपको बात बोलूँगा मैं. लाइफ में बहुत कुछ मिस हैपनिंग भी होता है. जब हम बहुत सब कुछ मैंने सब बहुत अच्छा किया, सब कुछ किया, लेकिन रोड पे जिस समय मैं रोड पे ड्राइविंग कर रहा हूँ, डिपेंड करता है मेरे ऊपर कि मैंने क्या डिसीजन लिया. मैंने रेड सिग्नल को ऑनर्ड किया या नहीं किया, चाहे कोई वहाँ पे था या नहीं था, ये डिपेंड मेरे ऊपर करता है. तो सबसे पहले हमें सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन्ड होना पड़ेगा. रेगुलेटरीज या जो भी हैं वो उन चीज़ों को प्रोटेक्ट करती हैं, कोई भी अनडिसिप्लिन चीज़ों को होने के लिए. लेकिन सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट, कहीं ना कहीं शायद जो हमारी ग्रीडीनेस होती है, शायद वो कहीं ना कहीं दूसरी उन चीज़ों को शायद प्रेरित करती है. आज मान लीजिए कि भाई के इंटरेस्ट रेट आज अब ऑन एंड एवरेज 5 to 6% है। अगर मेरे को कोई 12-13% का अगर ऑफर देता है, क्या मैं एक्सेप्ट करूंगा? ये मेरे ऊपर डिपेंड है। तो रेगुलेटरीज अपनी जगह हैं, वो अपनी जगह बहुत अच्छा अपनी जगह काम कर रहे हैं, लेकिन साथ में हमें भी अवेयर रहने की बहुत ज़रूरत है। इसी वजह से ये सब सेशन रखा गया है, और बेस्ट टू बेस्ट, और ये सब चीज़ें सिर्फ आप तक ही नहीं रहें, आप ये चीज़ें आगे भी, यहाँ बहुत लिमिटेड लोग हैं, लेकिन उन सब चीज़ों को आप शेयर करें, क्या होना चाहिए। थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू शर्मा जी। आपने बहुत सी अच्छी बातें कही प्रलोभन के बारे में, ज़िंदगी में डिसिप्लिन के बारे में। डिसिप्लिन तो ज़िंदगी में ही नहीं, इन्वेस्टिंग में भी ज़रूरत है। शायद उल्टा बोलना पड़ेगा, इन्वेस्टिंग में नहीं, ज़िंदगी में भी ज़रूरत है। हम सब लोग अपने अपने ज़िंदगी में बहुत तरह के डिसिप्लिन फॉलो करते हैं, तो शायद इन्वेस्टमेंट में भी वही करना पड़ेगा। आपका बच्चा है, उसके लिए कौन सी तालीम अच्छी है ये आपको मालूम है। सिमिलरली इन्वेस्टमेंट आपका है, कहाँ करना चाहिए, कैसे करना चाहिए, और क्या क्या चीज़ें देख के करनी चाहिए, ये सब इन्फॉर्मेशन है। बस हमें देख के वो सब समझ के करना चाहिए। आई थिंक आई नाउ इनवाइट नितिन जी टू प्लीज गिव हिज व्यूज ऑन दिस। सर, आप में से कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहे तो विल डेफिनेटली गिव इट सर। अगर आप ओके रहे तो मैं इनके बाद लूँ, या पहले आप बोलना चाहेंगे? ठीक है, प्लीज सर, बोलिए सर।
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीबॉडी। मेरा नाम महेंद्र अग्रवाल। मेरा क्वेश्चन सुयश शर्मा जी से, जैसे स्मॉल इन्वेस्टर्स जो होते हैं, जो छोटे तबके के इन्वेस्टर, जिस तरह 10,000 रुपये लगाना, 20,000 लगाना फ्यूचर के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, तो उनके लिए कोई भी अथॉरिटी नहीं है। चाहे सेबी हो, सेबी में कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं, बट वो एनएससी को भेजते हैं। एनएससी वाले कुछ शेयर मैंने जो अपने फ्यूचर को देखते हुए 1980 में कंपनी में शेयर लगाए थे, 1980, 40 साल पहले
जी।
तो वो शेयर सर्टिफिकेट सिर्फ कागज़ के तरह है, नहीं इसकी कंपनियों को कोई ठिकाना है। कंपनियों में लिखता हूँ तो कंपनी में सिग्नेचर नहीं मिलते, जबकि हमारा फर्स्ट अलॉटमेंट है। दिस इज द फर्स्ट अलॉटमेंट शेयर, सिर्फ कागज़ के टुकड़े की तरह हो रखे। तो इसका क्या सोल्यूशन है? जैसा आपने बताया कि म्यूचुअल फंड अच्छा है, म्यूचुअल फंड नो डाउट अच्छा है। हमने 1980 में लगाए थे बच्चों के लिए, जब बच्चे हमारे 2-3 साल के थे, तो बच्चों के लिए लगाया था म्यूचुअल फंड। आज बच्चे हो गए 35 साल के, लेकिन उनका शेयर उनके नाम से ट्रांसफ़र नहीं हुआ म्यूचुअल फंड। क्यों? गार्जियन ने सर्टिफाइड कर दिया, उसका स्कूल सर्टिफिकेट लगा दिया, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट लगा दिया, पैन नंबर लगा दिया, आज तक उनके नाम से ट्रांसफ़र नहीं हुआ। आई हैव लॉस्ट 40 ईयर्स अमॉन्ग द शेयर मार्केट। इसलिए अब मैं ये कहता हूँ कि शेयर मार्केट एक जुआ घर है, इन्वेस्ट मत करो, शेयर मार्केट एक जुआ घर है। तो थोड़ा सा एक राय आपसे चाहूँगा।
जी सर।
क्वेश्चन ये बताया ना मैंने कि हमारे हाथ में कागज़ के टुकड़े हैं।
सर बात शायद जी मैं बात समझ गया। आप
क्वेश्चन तो ये बताया ना सर,
सर ग्रीवियंस में समझ गया, जो बेसिकली वो पूछना चाह रहे हैं।
हमें कोई भी डिपार्टमेंट ऐसा नहीं मिला जो हमारी हेल्प कर सके।
जी, एक्चुअल में सर समय बदल गया है। आज आप बात कर रहे हैं कि भाई 40 साल पहले इन्वेस्टमेंट किया था, बात मेरी आज भी वही है।
वही है।
आपको एक बहुत छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ, क्योंकि हम उस सब चीज़ से जुड़े हुए हैं जो आज आप अपनी फाइल लेके आए हैं। एक व्यक्ति ने मेरे से लॉकडाउन में इंसिस्ट करके मेरे को बुलाया घर पे, बोले कि शर्मा जी, हर्षद मेहता कांड से पहले ये अटैची की वैल्यू 1 करोड़ थी, देखो आज आप क्या निकाल के देते हो। सर आप बिलीव नहीं करेंगे, 50,000 की वैल्यू निकली, टोटल 60 कंपनियों का इन्वेस्टमेंट था उनका,
जीरो हो गए।
तो अब इसको क्या कहेंगे सर? अगर मार्केट ऊपर, अप डाउन्स अगर नहीं होंगे, एक हेल्दी मार्केट्स के लिए कभी भी आप ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि ये ऊपर ही जाएगा। हर समय हर चीज के लिए हर टाइम पे मौका होता है, वक्त के हिसाब से। आप मेरी पूरी बात सुनिएगा, फिर आप आराम से बोलिएगा। 80 का दौर कुछ और था, 2000 के बाद का दौर कुछ और है। चीजें समय के हिसाब से बदली हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट के तरीके भी बदले हैं। जो चीजें पहले हैपनिंग हुई थी अब वैसा नहीं है। आपको भविष्य के बारे में ये बात आप नहीं कह सकते कि आज से 20 साल बाद क्या हैपनिंग होना है। हाँ, मैं उसकी प्रिपरेशन करके रख सकता हूं, लेकिन एग्जैक्टली क्या होगा ये मालूम नहीं है। वही काम रेगुलेटरीज और वो सब चीज करती हैं। कुछ होने के बाद अगर कोई ऐसी कोई चीज हुई है तो उस पर रूल्स और नियम्स बनाए जाते हैं। लेकिन आज का दौर की बात करें, प्रेजेंट टाइम की भी बात करें, बात आ जाती है मेरी नीड क्या है इन्वेस्टमेंट की, किस चीज में मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहता हूं अपना पैसा, और किस समय मेरे को उस पैसे की नीड रहेगी। बहुत लोग होते हैं केवल इसी वजह से, जिस समय शेयर मार्केट में और ये सब चीजों में बहुत तेजी होती है, लोग मूव हो जाते हैं। मींस आपने उस समय अपना माइंड, प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड था वो डाइवर्ट किया। मेरी पॉकेट अलाउ केवल 50,000 इन्वेस्टमेंट करने की थी। सडनली अगर कोई भी हैपनिंग हुआ तो मैं ये नहीं कह सकता ना कि भाई कि मेरे को जो है ये बाजार मतलब अच्छा नहीं है या सब चीजें।
नहीं, बाजार बहुत अच्छा है। और
सर,
आज इंडिया का ग्रोथ,
समय मत रखते
एक
हुए
छोटा
सर, मैं-
एक क्वेश्चन और
मैं-
है।
सर आपको बाद में चांस दिया
एक
जाएगा, सर।
रिसेंट अभी मैंने दो
सर,
तीन
इन्हें
दिन पहले
खत्म
टीवी
करने
देखा था,
दीजिए, फिर आपके पास आते हैं वापस।
अनिल सिंघवी जी ने जो बताया था कि इसी तरह से एक एसएमएस आया और उसके करोड़ों रुपए के शेयर गायब हो गए। उस समय उस केस में सेबी या और जो डिपार्टमेंट है आने वाले टाइम में क्या लगता है, क्या कोई एक्शन क्या करेगी? क्योंकि एक एसएमएस से उसके सारी जिंदगी कमाई गए शेयर उड़ गए, किसी थर्ड पार्टी ने अपने नाम से ट्रांसफर कर लिया।
सर कंप्लेंट करेंगे सर, आप कंप्लेंट करेंगे तो जो भी इशू है वो तो देखा जाएगा सर।
नहीं, कंप्लेंट तो
कंप्लेंट तो करना पड़ेगा सर आपको।
नहीं, वो-
बिना कंप्लेंट के तो किसको मालूम नहीं चलेगा ना क्या
क्राइम
हुआ
जिस
है
हिसाब
सर।
से बढ़ रहा है,
नहीं, क्राइम भी बढ़ रहा है सर, लेकिन
हाँ, it is-
उससे ये भी जरूरी है कि आप भी बहुत केयरफुल रहे हर चीज में।
हाँ, it is-
इसी उन्होंने बताया था
इसके बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरत हो गई।
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू।
नितिन जी सर, आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू से फ्यू वर्ड्स सर।
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I will make a very quick comment. We work as advisors for our clients who approach us for IPO. So these are actually the securities which where the investor is looking to invest, right? So when we interact with the clients and try to develop certain kind of investment scenarios for them, our value add or our focus is to identify the risk factors, right? There are already certain risk factors which are attached to industry as per the stage of the company, or maybe as per the particular product or solution that they are offering in the market. So we try to identify what are the risk factors in the long term, and some of the risk factors are very standard, which are always included in the document. But our job is to identify the new elements from in which regards to the current market scenarios or certain trends which has been following, so that the investor can be behave more aware and can know about these elements and plan from a long-term perspective, right? So like the people mentioned about certain frauds in the recent time. So there are certain elements or certain observation are coming out of those situations. Whether those situations or elements can be incorporated, and there can be a systematic approach which can be followed in the long term to avoid those situations, right? So it's kind of, a very, ongoing and learning, kind of a learning process where you observe the current trends and certain elements and try to kind of, tell the investor well in advance that this could be the risk while if you, decide to invest in this particular security. So they can decide accordingly that, how much portion of that, investment appetite they want to put in a certain security so that their portfolio is diversified and ultimately risk is reduced, right? So, like, my eminent fellow panelists has meant that the investor has to be very, alert, aware, and know very well before, taking any decision, right? There could be certain hiccups or there could be certain challenges that come from the market, but that doesn't really always, mean that you made a wrong decision, right? There could be certain challenges in the short run, but if you remain committed, you remain alert, you react to appropriate to the current, situation, then definitely it will be a benefiting scenario in the long run. Right? So that'll be from my side.
Thank you, Nitin ji. Sir, Dharmender ji, I would request you to say a few words, sir.
Thanks, Rajesh ji. I would say that in ecosystem there are three parties to it. One is our regulatory system, second is intermediaries, and third is the clients. Regulatory system, everybody spoke about, has created a boundary line, very clear guidelines, what is to be followed. They try their best to safeguard the customers. I would like to put forth the perspective from intermediaries, because being from IFL, please understand, for intermediaries it is very important to keep trust with the customers, as well as it impacts their brand also. So we not only try to what SEBI has prescribed, we go one step further. See, there are certain rules which is to be followed, communication need to be sent, which is the baselining, which has to be done as a regulatory. Now very important is how convenient is to the customer. So that is the approach. How technology can be used to simplify it. See, our mostly investment focus goes into that how we make it simple for the customer to access it. One, you communicate, keep communicating what are the new rules coming. Second is, for example, give you how to use analytics to help the customers. We use analytics, use scenarios where we can find what could be suspicious about any transaction. And we use technology to do a auto voice calls to the customers to figure it out, are you aware of your transactions? So this is the use of the technology which we are doing. What we have done is how to make it very, very simple for him to get the access, whether you want on WhatsApp, whether you are on, see, everybody is on WhatsApp. You can see everybody's, at any point of time, everybody is checking their WhatsApp. So whether you're on SMS, whether you are on any other mode. So how convenient it is to access it, that is secondly. So there cannot be a possibility, I don't know how to get that information. Third is, if you have an issue, how to approach. So we have created such a omni-channel approaches that at any point of time, you don't have to go to any regulator, that we are there. So you can raise your issues through WhatsApp itself, or you are using mobile app, through mobile app. Not only you can get all the information, but you can raise the issues. You are on email, you are on call, either way you want it, you can approach. So one is convenience. Second is how you can approach us. And third piece is that we keep communicating that what are the new rules which are coming in. The third party which remains is the clients. What required is slightly more disciplined and attentive customers. See, we are, suppose there is a transaction happening on an account, we are sending a real-time SMS, not even late. There have been instances people don't check the SMS only. So you are getting an information, at least go through those informations. It doesn't take time. Read it. If it is not relevant, you can always delete it. So you are getting information, the trade has been placed for you. If it is not yours, you have a time to immediately call up. So please understand, you have to be attentive, it is your hard-earned money. So at least read those communications, it is going to impact you directly. So that is very, very important. So everything what has been discussed boils down to, are you vigilant enough? So people are very emotional with their investments. Nobody keep the stop loss. Look at any fall. How many people have actually come out after 10% fall, 20% fall? They will wait till the 80% has fallen and then they crave, my whole money has gone. A disciplined approach. So do we have that? Everybody is in fear of missing out. That is called Fomo. Everybody wants to get into the market. But they don't look at what is their potential, how much they can invest as of now. They look at the others' profitability. They look at a minuscule cost saying that, okay, I can do it online, I will do it immediately, I can get a lot of money. Have you tried to get the advisors, try to get the help? You decide, but you take the help. If I am not expert in medicine, I will not go and do the diagnosis myself and take the medicine. I'll go to a doctor and figure it out. I'll go and take a second opinion if required. If he says do the operation, you'll go to third one also if it can avoid that. But in investment, we don't do that. I have online access, I can do that. If friends given a tip, let's invest it. Tomorrow money is gone, that broker is bad. So discipline is required. So there are few smaller things. I have seen people sharing their login passwords. And they say their accounts get hacked, their accounts get misused. Somewhere you have shared the information by yourself. So these are disciplines. See, every bank keeps shouting, don't share your OTP. But you still find people are sharing their OTPs. So if you have 5, 6 things which you can, see, regulators have done their best to create a framework. We are doing our best to communicate. But somewhere you have to be attentive when noise is made, you please look at it. So that is where the investor awareness and investor protection, everything will come into place. It has to be whole ecosystem has to work together. So that is my submission.
Thank you, Dharmender ji. Let me just sum up the issues, what all we discussed here today. And the first point is that, in no particular order, I'm just going to speak out some of those, what have been discussed by the panelists here. We need to be vigilant. Every investor needs to be vigilant. Understand his rights and obligations. And when we talk about vigilance, do not share emails, do not share your passwords, do not share your OTPs, do not share statements to anybody else. That's what it is. Be disciplined when you invest. And when we talk about discipline, it's not only about when to invest, it's also about when to come out. So you should know that, what is the right time to come out and how much is what returns you require when you are investing somewhere. Know your investment avenues. Everybody should understand that every kind of investment is not probably fit for them. They have to understand that where should they invest and what is good for them. So they have to make an own assessment. The markets can never be one-way movement. Please understand that. In one-way movements, nobody makes money. So it has to gyrate. So when you are aware it is going to gyrate, so you need to act accordingly. It's very clear that markets are risky, perceived risky. There's no question about it. The moment you try to enter, you have to be aware it is risky. The investments can only be protected through discipline. There's an obligation and a responsibility on the regulators and the intermediaries to ensure that what all is required to be known by the investor is there in the public domain. But it is the investor who should read those things. You don't find any information in the public domain, you have the right to question the intermediary, the regulator, I want this information, it will be provided. But the ultimate decision to invest based on that information is yours. Please understand, technology is here to stay. Nobody can be untouched from technology. It is best that we imbibe the technology in our lives. If not, somewhere we're going to get injured because there are people out there who are going to use technology to probably hoodwink you. So you need to be updated with technology and understand its uses. It's not only knowing about your rights, but also your obligations. So please be aware of those. And lastly, being unaware, ignorant cannot be a bliss. Somewhere we're going to get injured on that. So please. I would request my fellow panelists, if anything else in the last 1 minute, to say something more. Okay, we can take questions, answers.
All right, very quickly, please.
I'm an advocate chartered accountant, and I'm helping investors across India in their issues, just like Sharmaji. And I've assisted more than 15,000 investors personally.
Very good.
So my question with the regulator basically is, there's one side of the regulator sitting here, the other is the IEPF authority in today's domain. There's a very contrast in those. With November 3rd circular, SEBI has brought out an investor charter and certain standardized regulations. But these are not accepted by the IEPF authority at all. They need a separate set of regulations, and I've challenged those regulations in the High Court as well. But investors are finding no resolution. Companies and the RTAs are still insisting on old documents, new documents. IEPF requires something else, SEBI requires something else, whereas SEBI is the sole governor of the securities market. So investors are left with no option but to run around, either file a complaint on scores or file a grievance with IEPF, but they're not finding any solution. And the second question is, the RTAs are very, emboldened. They're not following any SEBI circular, and they're not following any investor charter timelines, because the SEBI in their investor charter says the companies may solve this problem in this timeline. It is not forced on the company, or they're not directed to do it. You take it Lincoln Time or K-Fintech or any other big registrar, you submit all ISR forms, but nothing is happening on the ground. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, no process is being followed. And some companies are still insisting on their own personal formats, not following affidavits and indemnities provided by SEBI. What solution is there for such kind of, because there are small investors, they can't run from pillar to post for finding solutions for day-to-day problems, just like Sir said. He's sitting on problems, signature mismatch, banker verification. This is a horrendous task for any small investor to do. They end up spending more money in complying with these regulations.
Thanks for your question. The first part, the IEPF part, let me put forth one thing. Since the matter is sub judice, we shouldn't be talking much on that. But to put it very mildly, what I would say is that there are some differences. I understand that, and those are being trying to be ironed out. And probably it will be in due course. Probably all those will be ironed out. But the basic fact is that today the IEPF, what all those shares and the dividend which has gone to IEPF, the return is not probably within SEBI's jurisdiction at this juncture. While we have prescribed some forms and all those things, those forms will stick. I don't think there are any further forms being asked than what SEBI has prescribed. So those will be ironed out probably. We'll have a look at that, but probably I'll request you to give us a very specific situations where what is being asked and over and above what SEBI has prescribed. Then we'll have a look into that. That's the first part. Second part, registrars trying to have their own way. Not very clear on that, because we have almost standardized every formats which has to be submitted in every situation, which can be right from your transfer, transmission and all those things. And going ahead, some more things are in the anvil. Like probably we'll be asking them to put those forms at one place. So all those things are being thought about. So, but yes, like you said, we have transitioned from a phase where probably things were worse, and now, if not good, probably you feel it is bad. Probably be that as it may be, we will try to improve those things. And SEBI cannot be a panacea for all problems, but we will try to definitely think of ways and means of removing those problems. One of the ways we had thought about was that you completely remove the physical shares. So till such time the investors are stuck onto the physical shares, they will be facing these problems. So my request would be to come out of those physical regime and go into the demat mode. Probably all those ills will not be there in any way. So that is what will be probably a good solution to that. And that's how we are trying to probably coax the investors to please move away from the physical regime, stop holding physical shares, like this gentleman is also holding physical shares, And all those ills with physical shares will then only probably will come out of that.
Is that deadline supposed to be extended of next year, whereby our dividends will be frozen?
At this juncture, I cannot comment.
I requested you.
Very short time for.
Yes, I understand. But I mean, something will be looked into. They are looking into it. So let's see how the, I mean, there's a different department policy making on that. So they will be probably doing something on that. So thank you for that. And
So thank you so much to our panelist and our moderator for conducting this discussion.
can I request you, ma'am? I think he's requesting earnestly.
We have constrained on time.
We can take it offline then. We'll take it offline
You
probably.
can take a question one-on-one to the speakers. Let's proceed with the. But in the interest of the others who are waiting to speak, they also have the time. So I request you to please get in touch with them on a one-on-one basis. A big round of applause for all our speakers on stage. They have enlightened all of us about the duties of investors as well. And let's keep in mind, never mind the problems that some investors face, investors have created long-term wealth by investing their money carefully in a diligent fashion in the capital markets. Round of applause for all our speakers on stage. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience with all of us. I request all of you to please gather for a group photograph. In the interim, I will introduce the next session and what we're going to do in the next session. The next session is on investing in financial markets, the opportunities and the challenges that exist here. In this discussion, we're going to talk about the opportunities in investments in financial instruments, the challenges in investments in financial markets, advice and help to new participants to get started with investments, and we'll also talk about public grievance redressal and monitoring system. So please put your hands together and welcome the speakers for the next discussion. Please welcome on stage Dr. Niresh Maheshwari, Chairman Farside Group. Please welcome Mr. Maheshwari on stage with a round of applause. Please also welcome our other speakers joining him on this discussion, Shri Prashant Bagal, Executive Vice President, NSDL, Shri Arup Mukherjee, Managing Director and CEO, India International Clearing Corporation, Shri Narendra Vadhva, Managing Director, SKI Capital Services, please also welcome on stage Dr. Saurabh Agarwal, Professor, Indian Institute of Finance, and Shri Anuj Gupta, Vice President, IIFL Securities. Round of applause for all our speakers on stage. And this is also going to be a very important discussion on the opportunities and challenges in the financial market space, because here we are going to understand that what are the innovations that are being done, because we compare the Indian markets with some of the developed markets where there are many, many more financial instruments that people can invest in. What is the path forward for our financial markets? We will be looking forward to our speakers to enlighten us on these issues. So without further ado, I would like to hand over the session to Dr. Niresh Maheshwari to take this discussion forward.
Good afternoon to all. I think we have taken many doses of the investor education, so probably we'll have to come out of this slumber. Again, please speak. Good afternoon. Okay. I think thanks to the previous session, most of the issues which were to be covered in this session have already been covered. So this gives us some more time to give thought to some of the critical issues. I think we can take another 30-40 minutes. How much time left? 30 minutes, okay? Okay. So our basic structure which I propose is that maybe 5 minutes everybody will speak. Okay. So instead of every person speaking on every topic, just to make it more focused and have to have harmony on the discussions, I have requested each speaker to select and discuss the relevant issues of the one topic only, so that our deliberations can be more focused and we can find out what is the outcome of these discussions are. Ultimately, we, at the end of the day, we are all in business. We don't want purely academic discussions. So whatever the core issues our investors are facing, whether our day-long deliberations have come out with some solutions or not, I think that is the key of the whole purpose. I think the issue in the previous sessions was more on the grievance redressal or the system, how the investor who has already burned his finger. I think there are 3-4 stages we'll discuss later on. How to make investment, who is investor, but I think the questions are more on how my grievances are not being redressed. So I think this being the topic of the audience, I'm handing over to none other than our very senior Mr. Prashant from NSDL, who will take you all overthrough on the regulatory mechanism and their best program, Eklavya. I think most of the people knows what is Eklavya is. The person who is totally proficient without a guru in the archery. So how our investors can be proficient by going through a small training session, you can say, or just going through a small video clippings, and how can they make themselves. So, but before that, I would like to thank you to first the Ankit and his team and ASSOCHAM, everybody, because they have designed the Tuesday deliberation in a very, very meaningful manner. Not only the topics, even the subtopics. When I used to be the chairman of the whole Asia for the investors' education, probably we were doing the same way. And I'm very happy to see a very focused attention has been done on convening the today's program. And second, the audience. I found the very gray-haired, real seasoned investor sitting here. So I definitely love to them. As a matter of fact, what we are discussing, nothing but a replica of their experience. Whatever we have learned, nothing. We have not burnt our finger. We belong to various regulatory associations. Probably we are not doing our own investment. We are probably prohibited to buy and take a call even. But the experience we have gathered is nothing but whatever you have shared with us. That's only we are discussing, so that we can take benefit of the shares and we can share those experience with everybody. So kudos and thank you to all our seasoned investors, which has made us more intelligible, and we are sitting here just because of experience you have shared with us. Over to Prashantji. Thank you.
Thank you, Maheshwarji, and thanks for the ASSOCHAM for giving us an opportunity. Basically, NSDL being the first depository and catering the need of the investors, managing 90% of the custody value, it becomes our prime importance to the activity that how the investor wealth is protected. And when we look at that, the first thing what comes into the mind that how the investor education can be taken to the next level. With that thought in mind, recently we launched, as Mr. Maheshwari has mentioned, the Market Ka Ekalavya program. We were honored by Honorable Finance Minister to grace that occasion when from her auspicious hand she has launched this program. Along with the Department of Economic Affairs, under the Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, we have done more than 110 colleges across 75 cities, because the 75 is the important number for all Indian citizens this year. And so in a span of 2 to 3 weeks, we were able to cover this large volume. So when we look at that, we believe that every investor had to be the prudent investor. And when everybody is talking about risk, don't do this, don't do that, then how the new investors will come? And so we are more focused on that, how we can encourage the investors to know about the opportunity exist. I will like to give one small example which has actually happened in the real life. 5 years back, I was giving a similar sort of a presentation on the investor awareness to one of the ICSE school in Mumbai. Along with me, there was a person from one of the leading mutual fund. We both were sitting on the dais along with the principal, and we were given an option, we were given an opportunity to brief about our organization and what education we can give to the students about the capital market. When the mutual fund person stand on the dais and he asked the question, students, are you aware about mutual fund? So out of 60 students, 10 students raised the hand. And he was very happy that चलो मेरा काम तो हो गया, 10 लोगों को म्यूचुअल फंड मालूम ही है. So he asked one of the girl, बेटी बताओ म्यूचुअल फंड क्या है? So she stand and she said, mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Please read the offer document carefully. So the point here is, when he asked all the 10 students who raised the hand, everybody said, sir, mutual fund बहुत risky है. Please don't invest. And that advice they are giving to the person who is there in front of potential future investor, that the mutual fund, how it is good. Now after Sachin Tendulkar, everybody knows mutual fund sahi hai. So that is what the paradigm shift has happened. So the important point what we have learned from that lesson is that whenever I go outside and meet many young students, young people who have just started earning, they find it very difficult to understand. Morning में जब से उठता हूँ और रात को सोता हूँ, everything I do with a Paytm. But मैं पीछे मैं Paytm का shares लेता हूँ, वो कभी ऊपर जाता ही नहीं है, हमेशा नीचे ही आता है. तो जिसके ऊपर मेरा पूरा जिंदगी डिपेंडेंट है, but I am not able to get anything when I invest in that company. So the difference between real life and what the capital market is offering, that is what we are trying to bring to the investors' eyes by the way of market का एकलव्य. Few years back, we all know ELSS, and mostly people know ELSS because उसमें 3 साल का लॉक इन है और टैक्स सेव होता है. So everybody knows what ELS, it is a tax saving instrument. ELSS के नए स्कीम, ELSS के एडवर्टाइजमेंट कभी आते हैं जब भी जनवरी चालू होता है. तब तक nobody talks about ELS, everybody talk about different thing. Few years back, government launched a scheme under RGSS, Rajiv Gandhi Equity Scheme. Highly complicated scheme. It started and it died on its own. The government was forced to close that scheme because it was so complicated, so it was very difficult for the common man to understand. So that's the reason when we look at the education, we have taken it to the high level where we are telling the opportunities to the young students that how it can be explored in a better way. Another challenge what we observed that most of the education is in the English and Hindi. So our market ka ekalavya is in the 8 regional language, and we are more focused on that so that people can understand in the language what they learn. And we have gone to Jammu Kashmir, we have gone to Kanyakumari, and we have to try to educate them in the language which they understand in a better manner. So when we look at a public grievance addressal mechanism and a monitoring system, in our app we have incorporated that. We have ensured that every debit the SMS are going. Now the SEBI has come up with a concept which is going to be made mandatory after within the span of next 2 to 3 months, whereby no debit will happen from a client account. Today morning Rajesh Dandinji was talking about margin pledge and repledge mechanism. Previously shares were required to give to the broker for margin purpose, now that no need is not arising. Similarly, after 2 months onward, any debit from broker account, whether it is for mutual fund redemption, whether it is for tender offer buyback, whether it is for secondary market sale, no debit will happen unless depository verified whether that investor has indeed done the trade. All the frauds which has happened, they are mainly because of the trading activity where it has been taken place, and because the investor has given a power of attorney, the debits have happened. So our investor grievance redressal mechanism, we have given a lot of importance where the investor can understand it. Moment we get a query from the score, we ensure that within the span of few days it is resolved, and we personally follow up with the investors whether it has been resolved or no, digitally as well as physically whenever the need is, and we ensure that through the digital mechanism each and every leg and the entities are involved are taken care and informed. So that is what I feel the need of the current investor is, whereby they are well informed, and so we call it, that they are the prudent investors. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant ji. Now I am inviting Arup ji from Gift City IFSC. आपको सब लोगों को पता ही है. Now India has given a chance to invest abroad. आप चाहते हैं तो आप एप्पल का भी शेयर खरीद सकते हैं, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट भी खरीद सकते हैं. नाउ यू कैन कंपेयर कि इंडिया का क्या रेगुलेशंस है एंड एट पार विद यूएसए है या नहीं है. इफ यू वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन ए म्यूचुअल फंड रन बाय ए फॉरेन कंपनी, दैट आल्सो यू कैन इन्वेस्ट. उसका क्या मैकेनिज्म है, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू एग्जीक्यूट द ट्रांजेक्शंस, आपको अकाउंट कैसे खोलना है, उसमें क्या आपका रेगुलेटरी परसेप्शन होगा, इफ देर इज ए ग्रीवेंस हाउ इज गोइंग टू बी टेकर केयर ऑफ, ट्रांजेक्शंस कैसे सेटल होंगी, आपका फॉरेन बैंक अकाउंट कैसे खुलेगा. आई थिंक more thing for our seasoned investors who have already done and tried their hands in Indian market, because I don't want a new investor just to join on those things, but for all our seasoned things which I have got just to broad base the things. Because if you are investing abroad as a government policy, as a foreign fiscal and sound prudent fiscal policy, if you are able to generate more funds, if you are able to earn, ultimately the money will come back to India when we are going to sell the shares. So it means the large number of foreign reserves. We close the last 5 years data we see, close our foreign exchange reserve increasing, hardly any deployment is there. So government has probably thought if some of our can invest abroad and make good money, so they are not making good money only for themselves, but for the country also. Okay, so over to Arup ji. Thank you. I think he's joining through VC. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope I'm audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much for inviting us to present at this investor protection and education seminar. I'm speaking to you from Gift City, which is near Gandhinagar, Gujarat. And our exchange is the India INX, the India International Exchange, which is promoted by the BAC. And this zone has been notified as an IFSC, an International Financial Services Center, by the government in 2015. And the main purpose actually behind this zone is to inbound the outbound, that is the instruments which are shifted, the trading of instruments which have shifted to international markets, such as Singapore and Dubai, in certain instruments like the index or the rupee dollar derivatives or gold, those trading, how they can be brought back to India. That is the main purpose of setting up this IFSC at Gift City. And we also are trying to become a price setter for some of the commodities and some of the instruments where the volumes have shifted to international markets, and we take the clue from the international markets and then we start trading in the Indian market. So we want to become a price setter for some of those instruments also. So the purpose is mainly to attract foreign investors through this zone, that is the IFSC, and the volumes which have shifted and where the international participants find it more comfortable to trade in international markets, how we can bring those investors back into India through the IFSC is what the main purpose is. So this market and the products we trade, so on the exchange we trade the derivative instruments currently, the index derivatives, currency derivatives, commodity derivatives, and bonds. And the trading is open mainly for foreigners. It is a market where foreign investors, non-resident Indians, they can trade. So this is a new zone which is being developed. So I've been hearing since morning about all the developments, of course, in the domestic market and how the markets are becoming being made more efficient, investor friendly. So this is also a market being developed, the IFSC zone and Gift City. So while this is mainly for foreigners, but we have one product or one platform which we have developed here, which is for the retail investors like you and me, who can come and take advantage of this platform. And this platform is called as the India INX Global Access Platform, or India INX GA is what we call it. This platform is for the retail Indian investors who are allowed to trade through the LRS, that is a liberalized remittance scheme. They are allowed to invest up to $250,000 per year. They can utilize this platform and they can invest in foreign stocks. 133 exchanges across 33 countries you can invest in the stocks, in ETFs, in mutual funds. You can take advantage of this platform, and basic idea is to help our Indian citizens, Indian retail investors to diversify their portfolio. So when you are putting all your eggs in one basket, what happens is you don't know what is going to happen. Like what happened to Russia, what happened to the Russian companies. We never knew something like this could happen. There could be sanctions, and it could be such a big disaster for Russia. So why not diversify your investment across as many products, as many countries, as many types of stocks. So we have introduced a platform called as India INXGA. The website address is indiainxga.com. You can visit that website. All details are available over there. Even the contact, who you can contact, everything is available. You can utilize this platform for diversification and diversifying your portfolio. And already the platform is online. There are many investors, many of our members, that is the BSE brokers and other NSE brokers, who have become members of this platform, and they can offer this facility to you. So you can now comfortably sit and you can trade in Apple, Google, Facebook, or go to say Japanese market and trade Sumitomo or Mitsubishi, Nestle in Switzerland. You can have access to all these stocks and all these products through this platform. There are ETFs and there are portfolios which have been created. So basically the purpose is that when you're talking about investor protection and safety, one of the most important thing is, of course, first you need to do your risk assessment. Do you want to trade in these stocks or not? Do you want to diversify and go global or not? But secondly, after you've assessed your risk profile, then you have an opportunity to diversify. Now you are able to diversify within India. Now we are giving you a platform to diversify globally. And one more highlight I would like to tell, that the platform which we have at our exchange, the India INXGA platform, this is a recognized platform. This is a registered platform. The regulator over here, that is the IFSC authority, is the regulator over here. They have recognized and registered this platform. So you are trading on a recognized platform. So for investors, this is a very beautiful opportunity. As we are talking about market opportunities, this is a very beautiful opportunity to diversify your portfolio across global stocks, global ETFs, global mutual funds, as well as have a complete digital experience. So today what we are moving away from is paper-based, the old system, and you have a completely digitized, experience and a platform which has been made available to you. So that's what I would like to mention, because our exchange and this zone is mainly for attracting foreign investments. But we are very conscious that our Indian citizens also need a product, because they need to diversify their investments. And we offer this platform called as India INXGA. So I would like to end my talk over here. That's all I would like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arupji. And from the audience, I hope everybody become wiser and can now find out, at least not trade, but you can try to compare their system, and you will find out what we are saying from various programs, that our system are much greater and much in confidence. And as a matter of, we are now in a position to set the international benchmarking. So when you will compare international, then you will find out what type of protection are there, what is quote-based model, what is order-based model, and lot of issues you will be able to find out. At least you should go through the sites, compare it and find out. You can always give a comparative study and you will be able to find out that. Our third speaker are Mr. Narendra Wadhwa. He is our National President for the Commodity Brokers Association, very senior members of the NSE. And he will tell you the basic things. I think that despite some overlapping things, what an investor should do, number one. And second, hold the honors. The problem which I am the last few years, I'm saying that whenever we discuss investor education, we probably give a lot of duties to the investors. Okay, why not you do this? You should have gone through this thing. Information you should have seen. You should have followed the OTP. You should have seen the mail. Something most of the investor education, probably we are giving more duties to the investors, but while making them more profitable, can the intermediaries, can the brokers, can the regulators, can the exchanges, can help them? I think that should be things. If I think at all platform, that is my basic question. If I got a very top doctor and I don't want to send him 20 mails and I don't want to tell him all the options, theories or struggle, and then what will probably he will become a investor, but then we don't have any doctor. So there has to be a thin line. So before I hand over the mic to Vadwaji for his expert advice, and I think since he is a broker on all platforms, you will get lot of opportunity to raise your questions. But before that, I think when we have discussed all the risk, when we have discussed the personality, we discuss the human behavior, all these things are abstract things. Abstract means we can feel them, but it is very difficult to quantify them. So world over, the economists or the stock market participants are conscious of the fact how these behavioral things can be changed to quantify model, or can we generate a simple mathematical model to understand ourselves. Number one, ourselves means as an investor, and how broker can find out what type of my investor is. So he can help him to give him a tailor-made, to give him a bespoke product, which fits in total, which helps him and which is able to fit his demand. I think I can give you a small mathematical model which you can judge yourself where you are and what type of investment is good for you. I think people who have done some mathematics will be very easy to follow. For others, I think I will be able to send them a mail. Very simple thing, on x-axis and y-axis we know. You just find out whether you are a confident investor or you are a anxious, थोड़ा जिनको चिंता लगी रहती है, टेंशन रहता है, slightly anxious investor. On y-axis, on top you take confident, and on downside you just take anxious investor. And now the way of investing. You are careful, you have got the time, you can devote half an hour daily on newspapers and 1 hour daily on scanning various emails and the literature which are spreading through the regulatory bodies or from the exchanges or from the brokers, because now I think every day we have to send 5-7 statements to each investor. So I don't know how we will be able to go through all these things, but still if you have the time. So mathematical, all these 360 degrees are just separated or have been done in 4 quadrants. So first quadrant, when we go through the geometric model, 0 to 90 is first quadrant, and then from 91 to 180 second quadrant. So here first quadrant will be if you are confident and careful. So I think these are the real investors they owns their decision. They don't blame that regulator has done this thing or broker has not done this thing or probably my friends has given me wrong advice. So these are the part of the investors where you require minimum interference. So probably we can upgrade them. We can share with them better product, new product, like for example IFFC. So I can't give this person who is in their fourth quadrant. So we'll have to find out whether you are in first, second, third and fourth. So per first person, when we are judging ourselves, probably we'll have to take that. There is another opposite to that person who is anxious also and not that careful. Just on the basis of hearsay is able to make the investment. So we don't say him a copying model. We asymmetrically say him he is celebrity. But celebrity means that he is only following a celebrity. He believes only in hearsay. So for them, the mutual fund is the right product. Because they do not have the time to invest. They don't have the time to scan all the things. They don't have a methodology to understand the product. So why they invest, why they take a route of direct investing? So for the purpose, who comes in the fourth quadrant, we just give them a celebrity status, but don't do anything. Only you follow the strict model. And in market you will find out so many models, and you will find so many experts who will say, okay, now Dolly is having this much, or Mr. Junjunwala having this portfolio, or Mr. Y is having this, or Mr. Z is having, you just copy it. Or otherwise, this mutual fund or FI has bought these shares, they have offloaded this much, on this basis they make their investment. Now the end and the fourth. These are the real person to whom investor education is required, because they are keen to learn, but they don't have the access. They are not aware what to learn. The issue is what to learn. Ultimately, we have to give them the right dose. I think all these issues, Mr. Vadwaz will be able to handle. So my next speaker, Mr. Vadwaz.
Thank you, Maheshwari ji. Thank you, ASSOCHAM, for continuing with the National Conference on Investor Protection Education Awareness. We started this in 2016-17 when I was chairman of the Capital Market Committee of ASSOCHAM. And it's a good initiative by ASSOCHAM. And I welcome you all and sincerely thank you for attending this. As Maheshwari ji has just mentioned, I'll bring on the table few figures which are huge basically for a country like us. At 2.5 trillion economy, before this COVID, there was a buzz of 5 trillion economy. We are at 2.5 trillion economy as of now. At 2.5 trillion, we are having 20 lakh crore as household saving today in India. Just imagine if we reach at 5 trillion economy, just simple mathematics, we will be saving around 40 to 50 lakh crore every year. So there is a big responsibility on us as an intermediary, as a MIIs, many MIIs were there, as a regulator also, to ensure that people who are there, who are going to come in this market, are protected and educated well. So this is a good initiative. Another figure I'll bring on the table, say we are the only country in the world which are growing at the rate of 7 to 8%. Say if you want to participate in the growth of the country, there are, this is the easiest method to participate in the capital market. Say I can't say as an investor, I feel that there is a good scope for road sector in industry, but I cannot open my road construction company here. So best way to invest in the growth of that company is through investing in those construction companies, or if I feel there is a good scope for say chemical companies. Say after this COVID, world is looking at us as a China plus country where there will be a lot of investment, lot of manufacturing will happen. So there is huge scope for chemical companies and other. So if I want to participate in that growth, capital market is the only place where I can participate in that growth. So as a association, as a ASSOCHAM or as a industry body, I am representing so many bodies in the intermediary. So we have to ensure that the investor who will come and participate in this market, they are protected, they are educated well, and we have to conduct as an intermediary. Say we are in a service industry, and there should not be any iota of doubt that we have to protect their money, and it is their money which must be taken care of by the all intermediary, MIIs and regulator also. So this is one part. One more figure I'll bring on the table. Like we used to say, I am in the industry for last 35 years. We used to say that, India will grow in any world. The investing public is around 30 to 40% of the total population. We used to have 2 crore accounts, demat accounts all along, and we were saying that it will come, they will come. But COVID has, given that trigger point, our 2-3 crore accounts have become 10 crore accounts. So most millennial, they have feel that there is an opportunity in the market, and they have started investing in the market also. One more myth I'll bring on the table. People say that they open the account and they start trading and they feel that they are investing. So there is a difference between trading and investment. So they must, identify what they are trying to do. Trading is not that easy, but there are enough material on the web. There are associations who are teaching these investors who are coming for the first time how to trade, how to invest, but there must be a distinction between trading and investment. The investment has to be target based, as we all say, it has to be target based. So create your target, fix your target and invest accordingly. Just don't jump on in the market and looking at the others that they have made money through trading. Trading is not that easy. You have to learn the art of trading, only then jump. Say Warren Buffett again, I was just listening to the earlier speaker, they say the market, there is a ample opportunity in the market for wealth creation. But market gives you reward. It is a process where impatient money goes to the patient, the investor. So you have to be patient in the market. And if you want to take part in the growth of the country, I'll suggest you take part in the capital market, but in a proper way, study, do your homework, and then come in the market. We are there to help you out. SEBI is there. Say, I have attended so many of the conferences worldwide. ISCO meet, Niresh ji has also attended. Only thing they say, education is the only thing which can, protect the investor. And it is our responsibility also to educate you. ASSOCHAM has taken a good initiative on this. So do your homework for investment and do your homework for trading also. There is a, on the website there is a huge resources are there who can teach you how to invest and how to trade.
Thank you, Vadhwaji. I think you got the insight. Now we have already covered grievance redressal monitoring system, challenges and the opportunities. I think very important topic, and which is very close to us, how to insulate citizens from the trap of unauthorized and illegal trading and financial activities. How to save our investors from illegal trading, or you can say dabba trading, or the induced trading, or the trading which you are not interested to do. Maybe you are just induced, or maybe just unauthorized. There are the 3-4 words. It may be induced, maybe unauthorized, and maybe dabba trading, or maybe total illegal trading. Saurabh, you would like to discuss, or should I take this? Achha, Saurabh, please.
Yes. A very good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Saurabh Agarwal, and I thank ASSOCHAM, Dr. Maheshwari, Shri Vadhwaji, and all other August panel members from SEBI and NISM. This is a very interesting topic, because if I ask one question to each one of you, all of you will say yes. And that question is, how many of you want to be wealthy? And everybody says yes. This is my experience of last 17 years. But the first thing which comes with wealth is risk. Noted way back in 1952 by Harry Markowitz. Risk and return goes hand in hand, and Warren Buffett said, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So I think if the investor protection has to come, the first and foremost thing that must come is everything what you are doing, you must know about it. Secondly, you cannot win a game if you are not focusing on the game, but on the scorecard. All the time, when I open my, my Demat account to my MBA students at IIM Rohtak or at Indian Institute of Finance, where we have been pursuing finance from 1987, only thing they look at is the return. So sometimes when the markets are going up, oh, we can make this much money in market. And when the markets are going down, oh, we can lose this much money in the market. Why are we studying from Professor Agarwal? Now the point is, we need to focus not on the scoreboard, but we need to focus on what is the process. And let me tell you, educationists themselves were confused. In 1950s, 60s, 70s, most of the people said, we must know some model. What is that model? Harry Markowitz model. CAPM, undervalued. Identify such stocks which are overly underpriced. That means nobody is buying them. And everybody started doing that. Then came a very famous Nobel laureate, Eugene Fama. He said, no, markets are divided into weak form, semi-strong, strong form. So what happened? People said, no. Valuation, Gordon's valuation. Valuation cannot get you ahead. You need to learn technical analysis. So practically, the whole world started to look after charts, volume and price patterns, public announcements. All this became very important. And even the regulator said, before you release the information to media, release it to me. So practically, investor protection came from the fact that today, any listed company has to declare information to them rather than declaring it to the media. So this is another paradigm shift in the investors, where they said, if I get information about the quarterly reports, if I get some information, I will be able to make money. And then came another world of insider trading, which was grossly curbed, and till date, no market in the world has been able to curb insider trading, in the sense that if insider trading takes place, it will give definite gains. The only way is markets, the SEBI and others have put limits. No one can undertake insider trading. Board members cannot trade in the share. Then again came another very phenomenal work, and that is the work by Richard Thaler and Kahneman and Tversky. What is this work? Know yourself. Practically, I can tell you, not many of you have investigated your own self. Know yourself. What is your biases? Practically, there is a very beautiful book by Michael Pompian. I taught a full course in January this year, and many of my students at IIM Rohtak have got very good jobs. In fact, at IIF also they get very good jobs. It's a very full course on behavioral biases. We do not know, we suffer from many cognitive biases, recency biases, self-attribution. If the gain is there, it is because of me. If I have made a loss, it is because of the market. Practically each one of us, recency bias. I recently made 10% here, I should invest more. Practically when you invested more, you lost money. We are ourselves suffering from large number of biases. So practically before you put your money into the market, it is important for you to understand what kind of biases you are suffering from. It is only this self-learning meditation can help you understand that, okay, let me tell you, sir said divide into quadrants. Today, investment advisors are so intelligent. To a risk-averse investor, you offer double return, he will give you your money. So a person who is putting 100% of his money into fixed deposit, you tell him, I'll double your money, he will give the money. So practically it is better for you to understand what kind of investor you are. Are you there for risk lover? Are you a risk averse? And then coming on to the asset classes. Over the last 2 to 3 years, there has been digital explosion. Earlier, I was good enough as a professor of finance. You know, finance is good. But now, finance itself is not relevant. Fintech, finance plus technology we have exploded like anything. UPI, nudge, you know, in our accounts there is a nudge happening. Let me tell you, even with little knowledge of finance which you have, today your brokerage houses tell you, you don't need to learn an entire valuation formula, whether it is overpriced, underpriced. So you understand, all the parameters are giving you, it is underpriced. So that becomes the right point to enter. Second, you don't need to learn MACD, you don't need to learn Bollinger Bands, you don't need to learn moving averages. These are technical terms. What you need to understand, okay, there are 40 parameters. The brokerage house says on these 40 parameters, 34 of them are saying buy. So practically reaffirmation. Third, we become very scared of discussing our financial matters, neither with our family nor with our financial advisor. I think SEBI has done a great job in creating SEBI registered wealth or financial advisors. I think it is very important. Take your bucket to them. A very good study has been brought out by ASSOCHAM where they say maximum people invest in fixed deposits, post office MIS, senior citizen savings schemes, Sukanya Samriddhi scheme. Practically, we all want to be wealthy, but no person has become wealthy by investing in them. So practically the real wealth generation, 10,000 rupee when nobody invested in Infosys, today the same amount becomes 1.3 crores. More than any real estate, more than any gold. So practically this is one investment opportunity which you cannot hold on to, which you cannot let to go. And one good thing which retail investors did good in 2020 was They did not exit. So the 8 crore demat accounts that have come during 2021 to 2022 is because retail investors, despite the fact after COVID-19 announcement, the stock markets plunged, but retail investors said, no, our mutual funds, DII, domestic institutional investors, let me tell you, today our financial markets are stable, not because of anybody else. FIIs are pulling out money every month after month. It can destabilize, but no, our DIIs, every month, 10,000 crores is being pumped into the stock market. So practically, just imagine if 10 to 15,000 crores is getting into some markets, and where do they invest? Equities, government funds, and lastly, do goal-based investing. I tell my students 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 40 rule. What is the 10, 10, 10, 40 rule? Whatever you earn, keep almost, our national saving rate is 27%. I say increase it to 60%. Whatever you save, 60%, out of that 60%, the first thing what you must do is invest 10% in equities. I say you should do it, even if you don't know it. How? Learn a little bit. Invest in mutual fund. Second, mutual. What kind of mutual fund? That depends upon you. Third, go into debt funds. Our debt market is dead and it needs to be reignited. PSU, AAA rated, second A rated bonds, they can give you very good returns. Fourth, you must go in for these conventional schemes like PPF, NIS, MIS. They protect you at a point of time, and 40% goes into real estate. Do not miss out through the flight. We are going to be the flight, maximum number of flights going to be in India. You will miss out the flight if you miss out onto the capital markets right now. And I think I would like to quote Kautilya's Arthashastra. A mind which was hopeless in the past has created hopelessness in the present. So if anybody is sad because they have left money, but a mind which embraces hope in the present will ensure a prosperous future. And this is what Kautilya said. So we have to be hopeful about future. The only thing that comes over hard luck is hard work. Sir, I was listening to one of the senior citizens saying paper scripts are there. Let me tell you, my parents also had a lot of paper scripts. And I struggled. Every time I have to fill the paper, and I was told to send it to the company secretary. One feels scared. 8 lakhs of rupees worth one certificate. 8 lakhs of rupees, one certificate, and I'm told send it to the company secretary. We tried, and they recovered the money. So if you are having still paper scripts, one method is you yourself do it, fill the forms, send it, then you will get. But again and again, one request to regulator, when you become old, the signature does not match. So number of forms are rejected just because of the fact signature did not match. And I think that needs to be relooked. And a video confirmation should be undertaken. Rather than, another method is you can go to a broker. And the broker will get the shares in his own account and transfer you the money, if you can trust that broker. So there are 2 routes available for paper scripts. These are the most commonly. Third, there is another method which is being undertaken, whereby they say, whatever you have, I will take it as is, where is, I'll give you a lump sum amount. That is also what a lot of senior citizens are undertaking. With this, I think I would like to end my session. I was given 6 minutes, but like Vande Bharat train, we're still waiting for bullet train. I can't finish whatever I have to discuss in just short 6 minutes. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. And I hope ASSOCHAM will take it to much greater heights, training at least 10 crore citizens. I think 8 has been added, and I think ASSOCHAM, NISM, IIF, SEBI can jointly do it. We have a bright future. And I think each one of us today, after this sumptuous lunch, will go and invest at least 10,000 in stock market. I will do it. Please do it.
Thank you, Saurabh-ji. Very thoughtful insight. I think you are correct, no issue on that, but sometimes out of excitement. Our role is not only to give you, we are not advocate here.
But information goes to the public.
I was here to correct, no problem. Thank you very much. I fully agree. The issue is how to sensitize you. You have to feel that time has come where you have to do something. I think if you take this much mantra, that is enough. Our basic issue was, what are the challenges now? I think we have discussed most of the issues. and certain points of challenges. I think I would like to start with the first topic which came in the previous session. Also, there is no much coordination amongst the Investor Protection Fund of the MCA and the SEBI. I'm also getting a lot of issues. Maybe it takes almost 1 year because that it was part of the COVID, so many issues. I talked to the, I think it is now headed by that one Lieutenant General also. We had recently had a meeting with them. So on an average, the refund of shares and the refund of dividend, it is taking almost a year. And they give 1 month time that you have to fill all this form and you will get that letter on 28th date. By the time you are going to send all these letters, collecting all the information, time is over, then you have to redo all the exercise. I think there is a time where we can find out a easier mechanism where this lost wealth can be given to their rightful owners. I think SEBI and the Investor Protection Funds are all the people, and I think out of the 7 people, both 3 are brokers only, so we can always discuss with them and find out, but we'll have to make out and come out with a faster solution for that. Second is the unauthorized trade. I think whenever we are going to the arbitration, when we are going to discuss and giving a lecture to the arbitration team when we are joining new, the issue is how to segregate unauthorized trade. And whether it is a real unauthorized trade or it has been purported to be a unauthorized trade. There is a line, I've seen many cases which has come to us for our adjudications. We found a very, very thin difference in that. I found one of the case of a almost 4 crore rupees of shares from one doctor from Noida. And she said that I am getting all the emails. She has given in reply. I got all the mail, all the confirmation. But my relationship manager told me that these are just formalities. These are SEBI required documents. Because I have to send 10 days documents every day. So after reading 2-3 mails, I didn't read out all these things. That one is margin statement. I don't understand what is this margin statement because it always shows a negative balance. So I thought even if my accounts are showing a debit balance, so I thought it is normal. So they could not understand despite all that. So almost 3 crore rupees shares were lost by so-called unauthorized trade despite the person getting all the confirmation. We have seen many cases where online trade confirmations are there. But still, at the time of dispute, they retract. They say that either this number was not mine or this mail was not mine. Very frequently, there is a very balanced, the issue is when we talk to the investors, please take rigid stand when your email is being changed, give the proper authority, proper letters, then they will come out, okay, X broker is not asking this thing. Y broker is not asking, why you are asking a physical letter, why you are sending a mail to my previous mail ID because I don't have access. I lost the forgot. I forgot the old password. So don't send the mail to my old email ID. Just start this new mail ID. Now, unless I verify the old ID, I don't know whether it is a correct one or not. But most of the people, most of the investor doesn't realize. Very recently, I have come out with a case where because of this fintech, everybody says that we are opening account in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Then I got the case that he said that person was not there. XYZ opened the account through fintech sitting somewhere else. Despite the SEBI warranty that they want even the location has to be tagged. But IP has to be tagged. But despite that accounts are opening not from the exact location. So, but when you are encouraging such things, ultimately for me it is really not an authorized trade or not an authorized account opening. You yourself has given him the liberty to open all these things. And then selfies, all the physical verification, the account which used to be tagged in the online KYC format. People are giving selfies. He is sitting at Bhopal and account is being opened at Delhi. Selfie has come when at the time of arbitration, detailed evidence, we find out the person was not there. So now he says that sub-broker, broker or XYZ has done this problem. But exactly how he can do unless you allow him. You yourself are knowing that I am giving this selfie sitting at Bhopal. So basic thing is that sooner or later we have to be careful. So the challenges are, fintech are like advanced robo machines. They give you the very high power race. You can accelerate everything. But you require a very good brake also. Unless you are in a position to take care of all these things, you will be in trouble. And that's why all things, we as a part of everybody, whether we are intermediaries, exchange or SEBI, as we have discussed in the earlier session, we are here to help you. We are here to protect you. But protection and help, like policing. If police is there, you can't say there will not be a thief. Because there can be two mechanisms. Like when you find out in Delhi, when PM goes, all roads are almost blank. There is nobody in the roads, so no accident, nothing. So one model is that we can put you 100 and 150 more restrictions. Okay, every day you give Y running account, we'll give you one check, you take back check in the evening, morning you give check, so there is no issue of embezzlement, there is no issue of security defalcations, because you are settling everything every day. But whether it is going to really help, because ultimately we have to balance it with the ease of the doing business also. So like instead of cleaning all the roads, what we do, we put the red light. Because red light, that doesn't stop the traffic for a whole day. They don't ensure that whole road is cleaned. But at the time of red light, you have to stop. So minimum this is the requirement. If you jump the red light, then there is some police, there is some camera who is going to catch you. So the issue is always whether we want to give out with more restrictions which will affect the free flow of trade. But of course, it may provide you better protection, but it will affect your trade. So if there is no trade, if there is no investment, then all these rules are of no use. And another option is that we allow you free access, but we should be very fast to pounce upon if there is a wrongdoer. So if there is a wrongdoer, now we are doing online, you are getting the SMS, you are getting exchanges verification, every exchange has given everything on the website. Even thus, after segregation of the collateral, facility has been provided to the investor. You can check how much money is with the broker, how much money he has deposited with the clearing corporation. Everything is there on the paper. So if you are slightly vigilant, so now the issue of wrongdoing, issue of unauthorized things will not be there. Now the fourth issue is, which a lot of people are saying, is this tip business. I think this tip business will always remain. I have given this type of lecture almost more than 150 investor educations or so seminars or even in the issue. But all the time during the lunch break or if it is dinner, nobody asks anything other than the tip. What should I buy tomorrow? So I think whether this tip business will flow, whether he is intentionally giving you, is sharing the information, is disinforming, or is intentionally misinforming, because he wants to offload, and that's why he is giving this load. So this tip business has to be taken care of with a pinch of salt. You have to understand, and you have to think that there is nothing like business. The third is so-called people, they say, and you will get lot of messages, at least I get lot of messages so-called from Indore or from XYZ, okay, that you give me 10,000 rupees, will make you double in 3 months, 2 months. And in the past also, we have, I think me and Vadvaji went to the exchanges and SEBI also, and we gave them with all the documentary evidences, and those shops were raided and closed, but another has mushroomed. So many things. So ultimately, we will have to not to be praying fall to them. Last month only I got a complaint from a very senior financial officer itself that he deposited 20 lakhs rupees in one app which are giving them 12% interest, and they have written very boldly that duly verified and licensed by the RBI authorized. But if a person who is working in the finance ministry and he is becoming prey to such things. So the things at the end is that we'll have to be vigilant ourselves. So our last but not the least, I think the best speaker who can conclude also, because we have got the limited time, you can do the conclusion part also, okay? Another broking friends like Vidwaji, so you can get the, not exactly the tips of the what to buy, but tips in real investment. Over to you.
Thank you, Maheshwari ji, and thank you, ASSOCHAM, for giving me this opportunity to share my view on this dais. As everybody is talking about the financial, investor protection, now I'm taking some guideline on, some thought on financial literacy. I did almost more than 500 investor protection programs in all across the India, and I just received this type of questions that, sir, I invest or trade. So still investors are skeptical in their mind that they are trader or investor. So my thought is that you should be clear on that either you are investor or you are a trader. Sometimes people are taking a position for intraday perspective, but it automatically shifting on the positional side because they are not clear about the position. So my thought is that for the new investors who are coming just in last 2 years, right now we have almost 100 million demat accounts and almost 50 million demat accounts just added in last 2 years. And in apart from the 50 million demat accounts, I think 30-40% demat account come from the very young students like 20 to 25 years old, and they are coming from 2 or 3 year T-tier cities. The main basic of their students or the youth is to earn money from this stock market because they are thinking there's an easy way to earn the money. But they are not doing more study on this product because this is a product which is growing on a daily basis. If you talked about the last 10 years, it was offline trading. And after 5 years, we have seen the online trading. And right now, it's a time of robo-advisory and algo trading. And people still are not, learning about the financial literacy. And if you talk about the algo trading, students who are past just 12th or BCom or postgraduate, they start trading with 20,000, 30,000 rupees kind of thing. But if you check the algo trading point of view, we are seeing so many IITians who are doing mathematicals, permutations, combinations, and doing the algo trading. So you can see that who are just investing or starting their investing from 20,000 rupees, who are just pass out the 12th class, so where they stand in front of the IITians. So my view for the new investors who are just logged year systems or who are just starting their investing journey or trading journey, to please go to your books, go to the NISM, go to your broker to at least educate themselves, educate yourself how their market is looking and how there are many tools which are available in the market. Because if you are looking for the long-term perspective, you have to do some fundamental kind of thing. But if you are looking for the trading perspective, you can do technical analysis also. But if you are doing a very fast trading, if you want to earn money or if you want to trade very frequently, you have to learn about the algo trading. So market perception is different and market dynamics are changing. So in my thought that if investor want to sustain in the market, it should be update yourself by the market products, by the market depth and by the market sensitivity, because market right now is very sensitive. In last 2 days we have seen rupee depreciated by 1%, which we have seen in 1 or 2 months it moved only 1%, but in last 2 days it depreciated by 1% just due to Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan and US. So market is very sensitive, and right now we cannot use our traditional way. We have to learn, update ourselves and start trading with up to at least all the possible tools which we have and which we are providing by our brokers. So my submission for this, if we have to sustain in the market, if we want to learn in the market, we have to upgrade ourselves by the available tools, by the knowledge and by kind of available products. My last is thing, I just read a quote from Nokia CEO on the press conference. He said that we did not do anything wrong. We did not do anything wrong, but somehow we lost. As we have seen that Nokia lost their market leadership. So if we want to sustain in the market, we have to change, we have to learn, and we have to upgrade ourselves from the market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anupji. We did nothing wrong, but we lost. I think that is the whole crux of the today's things, that most of the investors, they still believe that nothing wrong has been done by them, but still they have lost the market. I think on this, regional director Rajesh ji has already in the first session has given a lot of question answer and explained these things in detail. I think no need to repeat all these questions because we already enough time we already taken. So with this, can we wind up the session? Thank you ASSOCHAM, thank you everybody and our learned participants and guidance from the exchanges, depository from the SEBI and the not least but not all our seasoned investors. Thank you my fellow men, professors. Thank you. With this,
Big thank you to all our speakers on stage for taking the time out and coming here and sharing their experience with us. We would like to thank Mr. Maheshwari, Shri Vagal, Shri Mukherjee, Shri Vadva, Dr. Agarwal and Shri Anuj Gupta. Thank you all for coming here and sharing your experience with us. With this, we come to the end of the National Conference on Investor Protection, Education and Awareness brought to you by ASSOCHAM. I hope this was an informative session and will go a long way in creating strong investor protection and education. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their support. A big thank you to Renew Power, SpiceJet, TCI, Physical Share Solutions, NSDL, Reliance Securities, BSE, CDSL, IIFL Securities, MCX, SMC, NISM and Brokers Forum. Till we meet again, this is your host Anisha Nayadhavan.